Yeah, hit recording. Start our session tonight. So I want to say thank you and good evening and welcome everybody for making it. Um, I'm excited to be able to share with you some really fun things tonight. I'm also excited to um, just hope that you can take a moment to just understand that being here right now, asking questions, wanting to know the answers, is the exact reason that you are here right now, because we're all on this journey together. And this evening is really it's a beautiful life reset sort of opportunity this weekend. Going into next week, I always like to kind of cosmically say, what is going on with the cosmic energies that are here to help us as much as possible, right? And I'm just going to try and be savvy and sorry, and send someone my link that just needs it quickly. So just bear with me as I try and multitask at 2 moments in time. Why don't I have my link up here? There we go, because it was right at the top to make it nice and easy. All right. Sorry about that, guys. And send. So you're gonna really like tonight, because I was thinking I was gonna see who was on, and I need to make like a recording about all of the things that I do and who I am, and I was gonna do that this evening, but I'm having so much fun playing um in the Akashic records and the frequencies and the energies and the soul's journey right now, and going through so much that I feel like it would be a lot more fun to share that this evening, especially with who we have here. I think it'll just be really, really cool, because one of the things that I love to do is that I love to be able to teach people everything I know. And I just, that's what makes me happy. And I feel like the things that I know, I've had to go through a lot of struggle to learn them. So obviously, if I can allow them to not have quite as much struggle and be able to go through them. But we also have these pathways. Hey, Jesse, welcome. Mwah. Nice to see you. Perfect timing. We're just getting started. There's so much about the soul and our ancestral stuff and Akashic records and the Bible and the in reincarnation, the past lives, the timelines, the grids, the how do we figure it all out? Like it's almost impossible. But what's been happening, I think you guys probably notice, it's been a drip effect of things that are just kind of leading to more questions and leading to more questions. And when we start to be able to get into the right frequency and vibration and ask the right questions, we get these answers that allow us to just shift in such amazing ways. And we're at this point right now where next week is kind of called the life reset. And so we're going to do a little meditation tonight where we are going to do something different. Now, when I say Akashic records, I don't want to overwhelm you guys with anything that's completely like way out there. But what I want you to sort of understand is that we have this soul's journey. So our soul, when it's incarnated, it goes through many lifetimes. And our soul is sort of something that is all energy, and it literally exists on energy. And now when we think of everything that's around us, everything, whether it's this microphone or whether it's this sparkly water, whatever, it all has energy. It all has, if we measured it, it would have a frequency. Now The earth operates at a frequency, and we have been operating at the frequency of the earth, or at least being, this is the chord that's being stricken, that we're sort of vibrating to. And I'm just going to let Heather in here because she'll enjoy hearing this too. um when we think about the vibration that's happening, hey Heather, welcome. I'll just be you, just getting started, so you'll just join right on in. It's perfect timing. So we're back to talking about frequencies and the way things sort of operate on an energetic level in I want to make it the sort of most simplest form possible, because everybody's talking about 3D, 4D, 5D. Well, 3D is the three-dimensional, the lower vibrations, the fear, the anger, when we were doing our frequency scale, all of those red ones that were sort of in the bottom where we are restricted or bottlenecked per se, doesn't allow us to make the decisions that we would normally make if we were expanded and in acceptance and in gratitude and feeling good and feeling love, right? So when we are ascending on an earth's level, you'll probably keep hearing this and it'll keep dripping in. It's ascending to 4D, which is where all of this, they call it sort of confrontation, happens, where things aren't working anymore for a lot of people. They're just, they're in a place where they're just ready to shift things, whether it's I mean, it can be an addiction, it can be a habit, it can be a sabotaging belief, it can be a whatever it is. We're going to go into that tonight a little bit, and we're going to do a different type of meditation. We're going to go into I'm going to bring you guys into the Akashic records, into sort of this, it's basically this record of all time, space, and reality. And there's said to be guardians that give you this information. So truly what it is this kind of Google search button, this direct dial into all of the records of all of the thoughts and the feelings, and this includes the manifestations and the things that you want and the things that you're meant for and the things that your soul has been through. But not only does it contain that, it contains our ancestral lineage as well, right? So you have your soul, which you're born into, or born, it's born with you many times, but then you have this ancestral lineage that sort of takes up space in this Akashic records. It's all there. So if you wanted to know, it's like AI. It's like artificial intelligence. It has all the information there. We just need to know sort of the questions to ask, who to go see. You kind of need those directions. And you get those directions as you ascend to this level, because imagine if everybody could just be like, oh, I want my Akashic records. I want to see my $1 million Akashic record is. Where's that? Pull that book down. But what happens is we need to have this, as a human, we need to have this visual container. So it's called the Book of Life in the Bible. It's referred to many times through just the ascension of consciousness and manifestation. And if you think about it, the powers that be don't really want us, and I'm not talking about gods, and I'm talking about like politics. They've known all this for a very long time, but it's a little bit dangerous when people understand the power of their own mind and the power of their own ability and the power of their own energy, and the fact that they can't be controlled just by fear or by keeping us in those lower vibrations. And so it's no coincidence that cosmically this is all happening. This shift is happening right now, where it's not just us. You guys know this. There's thousands, and they're pouring in. Look at all the groups that there's thousands. Like, my fingers are just bubbling right now. It's like there's so much energy in that, right? So this power, taking our power back, it's when we're asking these questions, it's powerful. When we're making these choices, we are designing our Akashic records. We are making this history happen. So when I get into vibrations, and why I've been so focused on vibrations and being in love, and it's beautiful because most of you guys were in the group last week where we did this little and I think I might have even suggested it with you, Jesse, too, is to make that little heart. So for anyone watching the replay, in some in some experiments they've done, they do, this is all for increasing vibration and manifestation and everything. So there's, you can just draw a simple dot, a red dot. I like using a heart. I have a little canvas that my daughter had sewn a heart onto, and so you literally use this inanimate object to have an ultimate love affair with. And my favorite part of this experiment is when I get to tell people to do it, because I get to tell you to take this dot or this heart and put it somewhere, like, some people put it in their office because they're in their office a lot, but it can blend in. So you want to maybe even move it around a little bit, carry it with you, bring it into different rooms with you, bring it into the bedroom. So when you wake up, it's the first thing you see. And you look at this heart and you take just 2 minutes. You take 1 minute to just, emit the most amount of love. And this is the best and most fun part, because you guys get to go there right now. Going into that, you have this absolute silly love affair with this dot, with this heart. You are emitting the utmost, you are amplifying, you are turning up your love button, you are just being silly and just going to the place where you had something in your arms or in your space that you just loved so much that you could almost not take it. Like you were just going to absolutely explode from being so in love, and just feeling that, and just really like, I'm just like, oh, you just want to eat it up, or we, so many things, just so many, you love it. You just absolutely love it. And some of the feedback that I've been getting of people doing it this week is, the minute then we do that for 1 minute, then the next minute we switch while we're in that feeling of love, and we choose to receive it. And the receiving is the harder part. The receiving is, that's when that unconscious mind starts to come in and tell us our stories. So these stories are very important. These stories are some of those stories that are in those Akashic records that are just kind of, they'll come out when they need to. But the beautiful thing is that we get to ask, and we get to actually ask basically they say the ascended master and the ascended masters, the helpers, the teachers, the, hey Penny, welcome. The ones that are sort of the guardians per se of these Akashic records, because they're kept safe until you need to know. But until you actually slow down to ask the questions and surrender to hear the answer, it's often not, we're not able to quite tap into it. So we feel like we're still missing something. And this is what I notice when we're getting to a point where we're like, well, I'm doing all the things and I'm taking all the actions, like I'm taking actions, but I'm still not manifesting something that I want. I'm still struggling. There's still a struggle here. And that's when we can look at this sort of getting out of this 3D realm, jumping into that 4D realm, jumping into those higher vibrations, jumping into that acceptance. Because think about this, to be able to imagine that we're talking to ascended masters and guardians of books that have all of our thoughts and expressions, emotions, and feelings in them, we either have to be enlightened enough to be able to open our head around it, or just a little bit crazy, right? It's sort of one or the other. But we get to this ascension path, we get to these points, and all of you guys are here for this reason, because the Akashic records will meet you where you're at. So when you go in and you're like, what's my life's purpose? You may not get that answer right away, but what will happen is you'll get it fed into you. At a certain point, you're going to be like, you're going to be doing something. You're like, this is why I'm here. And oh, that was that answer I was looking for. But you're going to have sort of put it into your focus by just simply asking the question, and asking the question in the right place. And the really cool thing is the superconscious may be kind of sounding a little bit familiar right now, right? With Akashic records and all this. It's basically how I see it, as the same thing. It's just a different container, because not everyone can just wrap their head around superconscious. For some, Akashic records really speaks to them, because they can imagine going into this library and just having this mass amount of books, and they can imagine doing a little Google search for, best job that I should ever do. You can ask, you can go into your Akashic records and you can ask absolutely anything. Like absolutely anything. You can ask for what do I need to do to really just get these finances under control? What do I really need to do to just stop this struggle? And so that's something that we're going to do tonight. We're going to go into a little meditation, and we're just going to explore the Akashic records to the amount that we are able to um, open our minds to it. It's nothing different than the meditations that we've already done. It's just, it doesn't work on commands. What it does is works on questions and receiving. And we don't want to beat ourselves up if we don't hear the exact answer right away. What this is doing is creating a present moment, right? You guys probably, I liked how Chris had said on Wednesday night about a moment being pre-sent, because this is what vibrations are all about. The vibrations that we've been on and the vibrations that we've been operating from have been very long-term vibrations. And this has really set into our energy, our cells. If you look at those Akashic records, they're probably pretty heavy in some of those areas, right? In some of those areas that we have just these really strong beliefs and these really strong patterns that we tend to repeat. So this week is all about basically letting go of these patterns. In my group, we're doing this earth mandala, which is a way that you can actually breathe into this mandala, these things that you really want to shift. This tonight is it's kind of like I believe they call it a night of the void, where it's the night before the new moon, where it's the perfect time for manifesting. So by just doing this meditation, we'll kind of get you guys into a really good space, and we can go into the Akashic records, which is basically almost like a meditation I've done before. So it's been sprinklings of, I just never described it as this as of yet, because it's a lot to kind of wrap your head around. And so going through all the matrix energetics frequencies, how we kind of went into those last ones with the shaman frequencies. This is 5D, this is 7D, this is getting up there so that you're actually able to connect with the right information. It's like finally you can code it. It's like those things that finally make sense, that book that you open and it makes so much more sense than it did before, because you're at a different level than you were before. And so this week is kind of what we call the reset button, the reset your life opportunity. Cosmically, this again will happen again for sort of the next big morphic field of people that are sort of awakening and on this path at the same time. But it's really cosmically set up to happen right now, so it becomes as easy as it possibly can, instead of going against the grain a little bit. If we have the least amount of resistance, and we know we have that least amount of resistance, we may as well make the most of it, make the most of our time, because our time is the most precious thing that we can never get back. We worry so much about having all the money, but the money we can always get again, the time we can't. And this is where we start to ask the questions, right? Why are we here? This is like, this life can be really incredibly difficult sometimes, and there's a lot of struggle that can happen, and we can feel really alone. And so I love that you guys are here tonight, because a lot of times we're all on the same path and we're all kind of doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. We just didn't even know that we were sort of in that tribe. When I get to sort of talk to everybody separately, and even have brand new people in the group that end up popping in, it's always the right time. They're ready. This is just sort of what they were ready to hear, and this is just sort of the evening that we're ready to start really kind of thinking about those things that are still allowing that struggle to happen, so that we can truly. That's so funny, she just popped into my head, and now she just popped into the waiting room. We're just gonna say, give me 2 seconds there. Have you guys been noticing a lot of those synchronicities this week? Has there been, like, have you thought of someone and they popped up? Or this, I have a little story this morning. I've been really kind of going through some big shifts, and this morning I had 5 people, like, from the past, and it's not even a joke. It was 5, and if it was within 5 minutes, who all basically, that I had let go of months ago and decided that that was what had to happen. It was that I knew I needed to make that energetic shift. Literally 5 messages within 5 minutes. Hey, Jackie, any chance you would want to do this? Hey, Jackie, any chance I can ask you to do this? Hey, Jackie, it was so nice to see you the other day. I'm glad. Do you think you could come and give me a massage? It was like, boop, boop, boop. I actually started laughing out loud because I was like, okay, I get it. Like, wow. Because there's kind of this cost accountability that we have to think about when we're saying yes to things. When we say, when we really want to manifest something, when we're saying yes to something, we're definitely saying no to other things. And when we're saying no to things, we're really saying yes to other things. And we question, do I want to do this? Am I making the right decision? The thing is that we have to really go with what we know, right? We have to do what lights us up. We have to teach what our passion is for. Sometimes we get so caught up in doing what we went to school for. This is kind of what I like, is that I've managed to be able to take all the things that just, I used to joke around, I just have all this useless information sort of floating around in my brain. And I just love being able to let it spill out to whoever it spills out to. And so the girls at Creatorsphere and I have kind of been designing this course, and it's a little bit more deeper into the energy fields, into the Akashic records, into the frequencies, doing an actual frequency reading on a person, doing healing sessions every day or every week. It's like an 8-week thing, and it's becoming really, really exciting. We have like uh basically like a little presentation that we're going to end up doing, so we'll wind up inviting you guys to that, so that if you want to kind of dive into more of the stuff, no worries. Yay, an offer in the house. That's awesome. It's definitely a good reason to be able to hop in right now, because you probably need a meditation more than ever, just to be able to relax and allow the universe to be able to just supply you with everything that you need in the exact amount of time that you need. So does this resonate with you guys, as far as kind of wrapping all of this into a little bit of a ball? So I'm hoping I'm giving you a slightly better understanding of how frequency wise we're in this space where we're finally able to kind of see the answers that we really wanted to see. Before, if we asked them, we may not have wanted the answers, we may not have been ready for the answers, but we're getting all the answers in loud and clear. And so right now is the perfect time to kind of go, okay, enough of this, I understand, like, emotions we need to feel we're grieving stuff right now, right? Like, I just feel that there's big things, there's sadness, there's big emotions that are coming up, but it's telling us we're ready to move on, because the things that we're grieving, we're letting them go, and it's for the greater good. But it doesn't mean we're not going to feel grief around it. It doesn't mean that this is going to be easy. It doesn't mean that this is just going to be a life without struggle now. But when we realize, when we go into these Akashic records, we can ask, what is it like? Because we don't really know. We think, well, yeah, it's that unworthy thing. Unworthy is just, it's really, it's not even, it doesn't even resonate on the frequency scale. Like, it's an encompassing, it's not even real. Like, we uncover that, like, it doesn't even exist. It's just something that we decide about ourselves for whatever reason. So when we can kind of go back to that whatever reason, it allows us to shine that light on it. It allows us to do things in the physical world if we want to, like build an earth mandala. And I have all the instructions. I sent them out to most of you. If I didn't, let me know and I can. Making something on the ground, just drawing a little bit of a circle, putting some nice rocks around, or make a border of feathers or whatever it is that you find. You just kind of go on a little nature walk with intentions of, what am I ready to let go of, as far as being a victim, as far as being a perpetrator, and as far as being a rescuer. And so we take a relationship with all of those emotions and we put them into a rock. We actually talk into the rock and we say, I'm ready to let this, I'm ready as far as being a victim. I'm ready to just, stop this stuff, like enough already, like I have all this stuff to share. I'm not going to resonate with everybody. I'm going to have to get over it, and it's going to be fine, because the people that really want this and need this are going to be lit up, and that's going to cause even more ripples, and then they can light other people up, and that's where it really starts to flow, right? That's that dropping that little pebble in the pond. So we can start letting these go into this stone. Then we go from the victim, then we go to where we've perpetrated or been a bully to someone or done something that we regret, that we just kind of are ready to just literally let go. Do it on a structural basis. You talk to that rock, you put it in there, you tell it everything, you just talk to it, and then you put it in your mandala, and then you take the last one where you've been rescuing someone, and you choose to let that go, and not the relationship, just the rescuing part. We're just not doing it anymore. We can't rescue anybody, and we start to really be ready to let that go. And they usually make it easy to, because they're like, well, I don't want your help. We're like, well, fine, then I'm not. And you just choose to stop. So you're just going to stop, and you're going to just choose that. You're going to talk to that rock, and you're going to say all the things about why you don't need to rescue them and why you've tried to rescue them. And you're just going to have that conversation. You're just going to put it in the rock, and you can actually physically let it go. And you can tend to the mandala for the next few days. Just add things to it. Talk to a feather, put the feather on, let the earth absorb this energy back. All of those things are energy. And when you're giving it that energy, you're removing it from yourself. You're removing it from your field. You're removing it from even in your records. They're now different. They're truly, like, you're literally changing all of this. So then when your soul is in the next life, you can end up having even more information. And I feel like, at some point, a lot of people have different amounts of lives their souls live. Some have very tired souls at this point. They're just, they've been through a lot. They're on their final lessons. I feel like maybe perhaps those are ascended masters, along with Anubis keeps coming into my head right now, just as an ascended master that is all about reset and rebalance. So I feel like, these when we can talk to these ascended masters, when we can actually open our minds to things like Ganesh, like a crazy elephant with all these arms, if we can actually imagine allowing information in from absolutely every good, good, beautiful information bit that is in our records to help us, we can literally choose to access that information. It's not, there's nothing evil about it. There's nothing that's going to sneak down. There's nothing impending. These are all the things to create the soul, this divine soul of yours. It really is. It's like a beautiful information source. And the things that are there that are holding us back, that are, we're gonna explore that a little bit, because it's none of it was to harm us ever. It was always to keep us safe. It was just, really skewed, and you may have a different understanding or a different viewpoint. Think of how much we've blocked out of our childhoods, because I know with most of us it's not been the easiest path of a childhood. Think about how much you don't know. It's all there. So we can just kind of go boop 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 boop. What's the real problem here right now? Boop 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 boop. We're going to actually tap a mirror. We're going to have this beautiful experience in the field. And I feel like we could just probably go jumping on in there almost right away. I kind of dumped a lot of information on you guys, and I know that there's so much more, but I feel like that was a little bit of an overall field to get us into the meditation that I want to do with you today, because we're going to literally just go have a beautiful experience, just absolutely allowing our bodies to be able to choose to touch this reset button that's just behind this mirror. So did anyone have any questions before I take us into a guided meditation for a little bit? I don't think so. You guys are awesome. Everybody's so quiet tonight. All right. So I hope you guys are ready for this. It's not going to be a recode. It's going to be an exploration session into the records, into giving us that guidance that we've been sort of waiting for, to be able to actually, to really be able to do this. And I want you to, guys, to just think about, a manifestation that you're just, maybe that is frustrating, or perhaps a little bit of a struggle. There's something that's, because a lot of times we're propelling so far forward that there's so much good that's going on that we really, we can just feel amazing. But there's things for most people that I know, that I've been working with, just seeing it sort of cyclically, that have just been a little bit of a struggle this last week, especially. Just kind of, it's been a ride. There's just been a lot of aha moments, and almost so many aha moments that it's a lot for some people. Like, it's been really, really intense. The emotions have been a little bit high, and they're kind of going to be this weekend too. Like, Sunday is kind of a day of it's going to be a day, it's almost described as a day of reckoning, where, if things weren't right, it's going to be like, no, that's going to be the day that it's going to be kind of set right. So I don't know if you guys have a lot going on this weekend, but just, the things that are sort of meant to be sort of reset will likely be sort of reset for you Sunday. And that can be any way, shape, or form. We may not know, but it just may be a big day for you, even emotionally, where things may just want to be brought up and let go. And I want us to embrace the emotions that we're having, but I want us to just notice them and notice the teachings that they have, because they are coming up to tell us something. And it's this week, it's kind of been like, I'm freaking done. Like, I thought last month I was done, and I was done. I was done doing this to myself. I was done beating myself up. I was done punishing myself and staying up too late. I want us to think about the real non-negotiables about your health, because this is generally where it is. This is generally where it's been going off for people, where it's like, they're just like, I've been eating like a clown. Like, I've just been eating like a clown. And we laugh, but it's, these things they've been going off a little bit more, because on a basis, like on a really big cellular basis, on a physical level, something, they're actually just, doing something like staying up too late, just feeling like they have too much on the plate, just making that unconscious decision to not have our non-negotiables not followed. Even, I like making the choice to not eat after 8 p.m. and then 9:30 and making popcorn and going, like, come on, stupid. Those things have been really prevalent in the last couple of weeks. Just noticing what people have been saying, they're like, it's like I have no control. And there is, a sort of a cyclical thing, but there's also the chemical thing that happens because we slip off a little bit. Everything goes a little bit haywire. Our nervous system goes out of homeostasis. Our cellular system is a little bit out of whack. We're now craving sugars to feed that yeast, to feed that cortisol, to feed that stress, to feed that, all because we were stressed, right? So we really need to make some non-negotiables for ourselves this weekend, like really, like, you know what, damn it, I am not doing this. I'm just absolutely not. The reset button, we're going to push it. We're going to just, even if it's one thing, make it that one thing, because don't forget that one thing is going to become a little bit easier and easier every day. Sometimes we choose 5 things and then we can't do any of them. So just be really, direct, and really ask for this question to be answered now. What is it, right? Sometimes it's your literally your cortisol level is too high. So you can do that by stopping eating at 8 p.m. and give yourself that little fast so that it's not producing overnight. Like, so many little things that we can just end up tweaking, that little course correction. We're still on the path. We have our GPS dialed in. The plane is going in for landing. You can see the radar there. It's just a little course correction, right? Those little course corrections are so important and pertinent on keeping us on course, because we're not going that far off. We're there. We're really there. It's just this really beautiful time. So I feel like it's a really great time for you guys to be tapped in and tuned in. You're up in that 5th dimension, and in the training that we have, we only kind of go so far. The intuition course is great and stuff, but it's still in that 3D. So this is just the ability to kind of go hopping in there and just come for a walk with me in that 5D. And so I want you guys to just notice how you can actually just receive a breath. Just notice your body kind of going, I'm ready for this breath right now. An acceptance of just going and actually meeting perhaps some of these ascended masters and talking to our teachers and our helpers. And just allowing that breath to just flow through our body. And I'm feeling that heaviness. It's the evening time for a lot of us. Jesse, it's your morning, but there's just, this heaviness that comes on with all the energies that we've taken from people all day. So I want you to just allow your soul star, that beautiful golden sort of white light chakra that is just a couple of feet above your head. I want you to imagine that starting to just light up like a big old ray of sun, like a sunbeam coming through the window, and you can feel it almost as though you're just feeling that warmth and that energy just start to cascade over your skull and over your hair. And notice your hair follicles starting to take in that light and starting to feel like they're growing again, connecting with your hair. Your hair is just, it's like an extension of our soul, and it tells us what's going on. Pay attention to your hair right now. Is it feeling full? Is it feeling vibrant? What is your hair? If it could talk to you, what would it say? Would it say, I need my essential fatty acids. Please get me some biotin. Just listen to your hair and listen to the frequency start to raise in your head as you start to draw your attention into that area. And imagine that sunlight just start to warm your whole skull, just like it's melting over top and inside. You're starting to feel that beautiful liquid sunshine start to move through every cell of your skull, just melting around and through your face and your forehead, and allowing it to just bask in and around that third eye. And notice even the pressure that you feel in your forehead right now, almost like something's happening in there. And just allow your eyes to relax, and your nose and all around it, the bridge of your nose. Allow your cheeks and your jaw to just relax as you feel that golden sunlight start to move through. And notice the frequency that may be starting to move through your ears and your inner ear chakras. Almost like you can tune into the angels, the different frequencies right now. Perhaps we're even tuning into some of those higher frequencies of the matrix energetics field, where frequency 20, 21, allowing you to actually tap in to that fifth dimension. And imagine your brain wrapping around all this right now and actually expanding your cells, expanding this light. Feeling it just expand outside of your skull, almost so you can't even feel your skull being a part of a skull anymore. And just imagine that light just infusing every single cell as you just literally join into every other cell in this morphic field. And allowing your throat to open, and allowing those voices to just be able to be heard, allowing yourself to listen to some of these voices that we're going to tune into shortly. And I want you to just keep allowing that light to move down your body. We're going to connect into that heart field and notice as that light starts to come into your heart field, that you start to think about that time that you just felt like you loved something so much you almost couldn't handle it, maybe even brought tears to your eyes because you just loved it so much. And I want you to stay in the good feeling of just love. Maybe it was a moment with a partner, maybe it was a moment in the mountains. It doesn't matter who, what, where. Just go to that feeling. Tap into that feeling of love. Perhaps it was a puppy, a kitten, the cutest thing you have ever held in your whole life, a sweet baby chick, a little baby, anything that you had in your hands where you just felt that innocence, felt that feeling, felt that emotion, felt that vibration, and just turn up that joy a little bit more. And turn up that love. I want you to just feel love, just encompassing every cell in your whole heart center, full of love. Just try and almost bathe that feeling with every breath in. I want you to repeat the word love about 3 times, just breathing in, feeling your belly now expanding a bit more. As you allow that love, that word of love, that feeling of love to just start entering your whole chest cavity and your belly. And I want you to notice in this area that just behind the heart, there's a door that we're going to go to after. But I want to ground our energy in, and I want to keep going just down into that low back and that stomach. And I want you to notice the muscles in there right now. I want you to try and relax those muscles in that area. I want you to expand your belly. With every breath in, like a big beach ball, just expanding as you're breathing in. And as you're breathing out, I want you to crack your lips and just release any tension that's settled in the spine, in the stomach area. You may feel little gurglings, you may feel little burps and little hiccups. And just simply allow yourself to breathe the feeling of love down into your belly, actually choosing to send some love down there. However it may feel, continue to choose to allow that golden light to keep moving down through your stomach, through your sacral plexus, and down into your root. And I want you to notice your glute muscles now, if they're tight. All of the sphincters literally relaxing every smooth muscle inside your pelvic floor. And allowing that golden light from your soul star to keep moving down through there, energizing, cleaning and clearing, transmuting the energy systems. And just balancing all those energy centers and allowing the legs to feel like they're almost opening up to the earth. And there's just roots growing down, just tapping in, grounding you into Mother Earth. Allowing that full exchange of energy, anything that needs to just be plunged out by this beautiful light that's starting to move through your cells. You can simply see it coming down and moving through any roots in your system. This can be any trapped emotions, any trapped events, anything that feels like it needs to be moving. You may not know at all what it is. It may just be discomfort or tension. It may just be a dark shadow. And just allow that to be simply plunged out of the body. And I want you to just tap into your breath and just receive a nice breath as we choose to go back up to the door that's behind our heart center. And this door is actually going to bring us in to where all the Akashic records are stored. You may imagine a library, you may imagine a whole bunch of books, but what I want you to focus on is a mirror that you see behind this door. So open the door up. Whatever the door looks like, it's just behind your heart center. And just go towards the mirror, almost like that mirror if you've ever watched the Harry Potter movie. And it's no coincidence, by the way, that that is in there. And I want you to just sort of drift up to where this mirror is, and I want you to just imagine yourself standing in front of it. And you can see yourself. I want you to just notice that you're bringing your hand up towards the mirror. This is the mirror of self-discovery. This is a mirror where you can connect to any questions, any masters, teachers, or loved ones. This is the speed dial to be able to truly ask them anything you want. But I want you right now to think about this struggle that you've been having. And I want you to receive a breath again as you just choose to focus on this struggle for a moment that you've been having and reach up and just tap on the mirror wherever you feel like it's good to tap. I want you to just tap 3 times. And notice that this mirror starts playing a movie as soon as you hit that 3rd tap. And this movie is it's literally a vision of where this pattern was created from. It came across many, many lifetimes. Just notice what's happening in the movie. Just see the struggle. Just noticing it. And I want you to tap it one more time so that it can skip to the part where you need to know. And I want you to see a previous self. It may be a different time. It may be the same one. You may have had a few times pop into your mirror right now. And don't worry if you're feeling nothing. That's something to look at as well. Just follow along, and whatever comes up for you. So don't feel like you're not doing it right. The absolute right thing is meant to come up for you. These are parts of us. These are these parts that are ready to actually share with you what their pattern was, this information about this pattern. I want you to just take a breath and just choose to receive any information that may be coming to you right now. I want you to tap it one more time. And I want you to receive information about how this is actually really affecting your life right now. How this is unfolding in your present moment. And as you tap it one more time right now, this is going to literally release the previous self. It's going to release this. I want you to notice it dissolve. It simply dissolve into the cosmos where it needs to be. This wasn't a part of you. This was a pattern that can simply release that old self. And I want you to just envision that old part being able to go back into the Akashic records, right back into the cosmos, wherever it's needed for someone who's going to need to search that part out. Noticing the ripple effect that this has on all of the souls. And now I want you to notice that this mirror fades away as you tap it one last time. And it's simply being replaced by a column of light. That column of light is just cleaning and clearing and literally changing the patterns, breaking the patterns, releasing some of that struggle so you actually no longer have to experience it anymore. Giving yourself permission, full permission, to actually surrender to this thought, to open your heart, to allow these blessings, to allow your soul to shine, to allow your soul purpose to really finally come through, to be that person that you know that you are, that all of the stories don't matter anymore. Whether there's someone else's, it's not even in your field. You know who you are. And I want you to imagine that now in front of you, you see a button. It's just a button that just appeared, like just in a movie. The records have sent it down for you. The Ascended Masters have been holding this reset button for a long time. And you've almost been ready, but there's always been something holding you back. And I want you to be able to have a conversation with them right now, asking them for any more information about anything else that just might be holding you back that you could possibly receive. And I want you to take that breath. I want you to receive with that breath, just allowing your body to accept that feeling good. I'm getting gurglings moving. And asking all these questions and releasing and doing all this recode work and making all this space. There's a choice that can be made on this vibrational level, on this energetic level. And anything holding you back can be seen right now. And as you choose to press the button, it's not like anything goes whoosh. It's not like anything changes. It's simply activating this frequency of accepting and allowing the beauty of your soul to shine through and to stop hiding, to honor yourself, to care for yourself, to guide others to do the same, to truly be happy. And noticing that feeling again of just feeling that love, feeling happy, feeling so happy that you actually almost couldn't be happier. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. I just want you to feel that feeling right now. What if Christmas was so amazing next year that you just didn't have to worry about anything and you could just be where you want to be? You could be traveling where you want to be, not worrying about how it got. Just be there. Just choosing that. Just choosing a point in time you just want to have be the most beautiful experience. Maybe it's just snuggling an animal at a shelter. Maybe it's just having a moment looking into an animal's eyes, standing beside a horse and feeling that beautiful energy of their heart space that is expanded 5 times outside of their body, being in that energy of love, being in that energy of healing, sharing your gifts with the world, sharing your light with the world, feeling your value and honoring it, and just knowing that you could do something that you're feeling right now all day long and just be so happy. I want you to just feel that right now. It could be just sitting in the mountains, but just go there into that feeling. This is the true choice. This is the divine spark that's inside of us that the records have just wanted to show us. It's just a moment in time where we're just happy and we're just feeling it. And the more we can feel that, the more we can go here and work this muscle, the more we can just tap into this field and create even more of it. But if we're not feeling it, the universe isn't going to know to give it to us. Just understanding, allowing. I'm going to be silent for a moment while you decide whether or not you're going to hit this reset button. Decide on a priority, a non-negotiable that you need to do for yourself. Make a commitment to yourself. Ask for any more information and go ahead and hit that reset button. Some of those parts were taking a little bit longer to dial in. Now I ask that you just take a few more nice deep breaths, just grounding all this into the matrix of the universe, into all the timelines, into all the records. And just noticing anything that may come forward to you as a symbol, something like a rock or a stone, something like a water or beach. And so it is. And when you're ready, you can essentially just open your eyes, come on back, wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Now, this was not a recode. This is definitely something a little bit different. So for everybody, it's going to be very different. And some may have heard strong things. Some may have heard nothing at the moment. Some may have felt certain things or seen certain things. So I want you to just imagine allowing these aha moments to sort of come about this weekend, because we've been asking the questions. And when we ask the questions, we get the answers, whether we like the answers or not. And so when we think about manifestation, why is this always happening to me? Well, we're asking that question. So we're going to be shown. And some of those past vibrations, some of those past struggles, the thing that may have even come up might not have even been something that you thought had to do with anything. So I am going to stop recording just because I have reached my time on I'm trying to stay cognizant of time, and it actually worked. I had the intention, wasn't paying attention, but it stopped probably sooner than I had actually wanted. I could have kept going in there in the fields for a little while, but thank you everyone for joining.